So, what we've created here is a short video on lighting techniques and colour in film. Right, let's start with 3-point lighting. This is the most common setup in both film and photography due to the simple reason that it is both effective and easy to set up. Let's start with hairline lighting. Hairline lighting is a backlight primarily used to emphasise the shape and outline of an object or a person. And then we've got our key light. The key light is the primary light in the setup. It is both the brightest and is positioned 30 degrees from the camera. This is an example of an array softened by a butterfly filter. As you may have noticed, the image is looking slightly too dynamic. Because of this, we're going to add some fill. Fill, a light that is 50% of the strength of the key light, is designed to compensate for the other two and reduce the aforementioned dynamic range to an appropriate level. A fill light, funnily enough, does not necessarily have to be an actual light. It can also be a bounce board or a reflector. This is conversational lighting. Conversational lighting is where two lights are placed within 180 degrees of each other, in such a way that they intersect. This lights up both sides of a face, with each source lighting up a half each. Next up, we have natural lighting. This is the best, most naturally diffused light you can get. Here are a couple of examples. When it's cloudy or overcast, you get soft lighting and the best coverage. When it's at sunrise or at sunset, it's very colourful and very stylised. Finally, we have practical lighting. This is essentially just diegetic light and can be anything from a candle all the way to a lamp. For example, here we have a candle light flicking across the subject's face. This provides a more natural and dramatic effect. Here are a couple of examples of the way we use lighting techniques in film. For example, in this instance we are using a hairline light to light the subject and a key light to illuminate the smoke. In this example, we have an extremely directional shaded spotlight. This allows the hand to disappear into the darkness when exiting the cone of light.
Now onto colour. Here we can see a hair light and a key light being used. However, the key has a blue gel filter over it. Gels can be used for creating night scenes in daytime or vice versa. With a camera like the Nikon D800, it's important to get the flattest image as possible to help you later on with the colour grade. Without a proper C-Log profile, we can cheat a little bit. We want to go to Menu, Set Picture Control, Neutral, and then reduce your sharpening to 0, contrast to 0, brightness up, saturation to 0, and hue to 0, and then set your white balance accordingly. As you can see, the image is much flatter and these LUTs look great. It's time to take a look at how colour palettes can be used in film. In Pixar's Up, Carl's colour palette is desaturated to begin with, consisting of browns and greys to show his grief and deterioration. As Russell enters, he is presented with bright yellows and oranges, which match his warm personality. Closer to the end of the film, Carl's skin tone becomes more vibrant. This shows that Russell completes him. Let's take a look at La La Land, 2017. Linus Sandgren, the cinematographer, carefully constructs this tracking musical number. We are transitioned through several different rooms with varying colours. This homage is classic Hollywood, but also represents the drastically varying mood of Mia, the protagonist. Now, it'd be hard to make a video on colour without mentioning Wes Anderson. In his films, he uses a washed or pastel colour palette. This imitates retro Technicolor of the 1960s. This also aids his individual filming style. Lastly, if we take a look at the 2015 film Room, we can see that initially the colour palette consists of mainly blue or grey hues. This represents the hopelessness and isolation of the characters. As the film moves on, there are more beiges, even in the costume and set dressing. This represents mundanity. Another example of this is in Breaking Bad, where costume designer Kathleen DeToro washes the colour out of Walter's family's clothes during his descent into drug crime. We hope you enjoyed our video on lighting techniques and colour.